and there was much rejoicing. This is one that I wrote as kind of a tribute to some of my favorite things in the world. None of which are actually in this song, but it's a tribute to brilliant music and abundant beverage and terrible, horrible, awful, rotten jokes. If anybody has any for me, please send them my way. I need some new, horrible, rotten jokes. I have fallen on strange times, and I'm falling farther still. I rhyme on borrowed fortune, and a flame yet to fulfill. Still we play the apex, fleeting moments everlasting. The sound praise and laughter from crude lights contrasting. The call to order kindles in a room without a view. Raise a glass to ingenuity. Here's to you. The gods are wise in the gifts that they bestow, because Venus loves you more than you will know. Now I can't see the ground for all the stars that fill my eyes, and if I gaze forever, I might never improvise. Ready to a point, but it's pointless to obsess. Mortals cannot court a sunset or feel the moon's caress. The call to order kindles in a room without a view. Raise a glass to ingenuity. Here's to you. The gods are wise in the gifts that they bestow, because Venus loves you more than you will know. It seems a sacrilege to wish upon that evening star, and I wish tonight is to be seen as on a par. Strive to match the pace while the constant crowd is raving. Without a within a pray, they cannot see my craving. The call to order kindles in a room without a view. Raise a glass to ingenuity. Here's to you. The gods are wise in the gifts that they bestow, because Venus loves you more than you will know. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Hey, hey, hey. Drinking with divinity, let no one intervene. Rock a smith for Bacchus, and tonight I am the queen. Perched upon the pinnacle, and searching I remain for another apex dawning, midsummer night's a friend. The call to order kindles in a room without a view. Raise a glass to ingenuity. Here's to you. The gods are wise in the gifts that they bestow, because Venus loves you more than you will know. The call to order kindles in a room without a view. Raise a glass to ingenuity. Here's to you. The gods are wise in the gifts that they bestow, because Venus loves you more than you will know. Thank you. Come on, pretty girl, let the tears are free. You don't have to hold them back for me. It'll be okay from what I've heard. The world's gonna sing you a lyre bird. And when that bird flies from its cage, the world's gonna put you up on stage. When the stage raise you to fame, the world's gonna send you a crooked game. When the game just is your light, the world's gonna send you a shining night. When that night announces you, the world's gonna send you a final clue. And when your heart begins to break, Yeah, listen to my words for your own damn sake. And when your heart begins to break, yeah, listen to my words for your own damn sake. If you resolve to win the heart, then give the world its just dessert. And if that dessert's not good enough, then give the world a tuck so tough. And if the tough can't see you through, then teach the world some sweetness too. If you see it in their eyes, then teach the world to recognize. If you overcome at last, vicious lies won't come to pass. If you live or if you die, the world's too big to at least not try. Scariest thing you'll ever do. But if you make them smile, you might just smile too. It's the scariest thing you'll ever do. But if you make them smile, you might just smile too. Thank you. It's funny that a couple of years ago, I thought, you know what, my songwriting days are over. I just don't have the knack. I don't have what it takes anymore. Wah, wah, you know, all these things. And I've been tuning the wrong string the whole time I've been yapping. Yes, it's okay for those of you musicians. You're not the only one who does this. It's like Midvale School for the Gifted, pushing on the, you know, that cartoon of the kid pushing on the pull door. But, you know, so I thought, well, you know, songwriting is over and done, and I'll just focus on writing fiction from now on. And then this pandemic thing happened, and I was on my way back to Louisiana after the last festival that I played before the pandemic, and was already questioning the attitudes that people had about the whole thing. And so I had a lot of time to think about this while driving from West Texas back to New Orleans, and so this ended up writing a song after all. So who would have thunk it? So this is called "Return to Our Caves." When a bee gathers nectar just to take it to the hive, it's unaware it pollinates the land and keeps us all alive. We steer clear of the hive mind with hoarding and demanding. I don't think that in the end you want to be the last man standing. Will you choose to love your neighbor or succumb to your own wishes? Is it survival of the fittest? Will you share your bread and fishes? We can bring such beauty when the prospects are so dire, and we return to our caves and we discover fire. You strike it off to better homes awaiting in the sky. Well, does your God want you to pass it to some unsuspecting guy? And the poor and the foreign, those with different points of view, do you find their deaths convenient when they don't resemble you? Will you choose to love your neighbor or succumb to your own wishes? Is it survival of the fittest? Will you share your bread and fishes? We can bring such beauty when the prospects are so dire. We return to our caves and we discover fire. And it's not fair, of course it's not fair. Like a meteor that strikes the earth, this laid our empires bare. And if it were some big mistake, the latest phobic fashion, I would still choose to err on the side of compassion. stay away because you're circumspect. Quite the opposite, please take it as a gesture of respect. We can stop this chain reaction from a distance, you and I. But though I want to see you gone, I don't want to see you die. Will you choose to love your neighbor or succumb to your own wishes? Is it survival of the fittest? Will you share your bread and fishes? We can bring such beauty when the prospects are so dire. We return to our caves and rediscover fire. We can bring such beauty when the prospects are so dire. We return to our caves and rediscover fire. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Wow. That's...
They're getting smarter.
I know, right?
It's on silent.
It's not anymore. That didn't sound very silent to me. That was pretty awesome. I hope you got that on film, because that was...
I did. I don't know if it picked her voice up, but yeah.
I've heard of butt dialing, but you know, what's next? You know, like butt hecklers. Band name, I called it the butt hecklers. Yeah.
She was very appreciative.
I know. It's you know.
Carrots for you if you wanted.
I will sink down it. I won't be able to move the camera, but I appreciate it.
Yeah.
I just didn't know if this was to hold vases or something before I grabbed it.
Nope.
It's an actual stool. Okay, good.
Ah, that was funny.
I apologize.
Yeah, it's mine kicks. I actually did not activate mine for this particular phone because it's weird if I say something like, "Are you serious?" You know, it thinks I'm like. There are times that I'll snap. I'm like, "I'm not talking to you," and. You know, and then you know, my Siri makes me feel like a bad person because you know, after a while I just get verbally abusive, and she says, "Well, I'm here for you." I was like, "Stop doing that!" I'm pretty sure that's passive aggressiveness on some, you know, on some robotic level.
Yeah.
Can I make a request?
Yeah,
Make sure to be.
sure. Since we are indeed surrounded by all kinds of beasties. You know, got to get all those. I had to. This one lady who's been coming to my shows, and whenever I play in Lake Charles, and she tunes into my live streams, and I had to sort of like. She said, "I don't understand. How's it actually about a guy and not about, you know, a kitty cat?" And so I had to kind of give her some backstory. It's actually about somebody who dated a friend of mine. Bring the cat and darted, instinct is so wild. He's keeping that poor thing alive to play with it a while. He's really such a sweetheart, it's really not his style, but he's having that thing live so he can play with it a while. I say, catch it, let it go, catch it, let it go, catch it, catch it, catch it, let it go, catch it, let it go now, catch it, let it go, catch it, let it go, catch it, catch it, catch it, let it go, catch it, let it go now. Nature is cruel as the order of things, but somehow in the equation there's still something missing. It's all about the hunt, no comparison least. Act and reenact is just the nature of the beast. We're not meant to understand how nature has no empathy, but all the same we're thinking he should let that poor thing be. It's not for us to intervene with creatures wild and free, but a TV light should put that thing out of its misery. I say, catch it, let it go, catch it, let it go, catch it, catch it, catch it, let it go, catch it, let it go now, catch it, let it go, catch it, let it go, catch it, catch it, catch it, let it go, catch it, let it go now. Nature is cruel as the order of things, but somehow in the equation there's still something missing. It's all about the hunt, no compassion least. Act and reenact is just the nature of the beast. He was born to domestic, that's what just seems wrong. Why does this loving pussycat keep stringing it along? Something doesn't add up for a cat that loves to play. He's only showing interest when he tries to run away. We try to teach him kindness, but he hasn't shown it yet. He might do us a bit of wildness once we take him to the vet. I say, catch it, let it go, catch it, let it go, catch it, catch it, catch it, let it go, catch it, let it go now. Catch it, let it go, catch it, let it go, catch it, catch it, catch it, let it go, catch it, let it go now. Nature is cruel, that's the order of things, but somehow in the equation there's still something missing. It's all about the hunt, no compares pleased. Act and reenact, it's just the nature of the beast. Nature is cruel, that's the order of things, but somehow in the equation there's still something missing. It's all about the hunt, no compares pleased. Act and reenact, it's just the nature of the beast. Catch it, let it go, catch it, let it go, catch it, catch it, catch it, let it go, catch it, let it go now. Catch it, let it go, catch it, let it go, catch it, catch it, catch it, let it go, catch it, let it go now. Catch it, let it go, catch it, let it go, catch it, catch it, catch it, let it go, catch it, let it go now. Catch it, let it go, catch it, let it go, catch it, catch it, catch it, let it go, catch it, let it go now. It's funny, that little dilute calico over there looks so much like a cat that I used to have. She was a feral kitten that I had tamed, you know, and I used to just sing to her, you know. You're the cat's pajamas. You know, what was it? It's, you have a face for Broadway. You could sing of her memory. You're the cat's pajamas. You're the cutest that I ever did see. Your mama was a wild one, you was born free, but I'd do anything if you come live with me. Hoochie coo, you are my baby bijou. I love you. And that was I had songs for all the kittens, but that was the one I used to sing for her.
Do you have any songs for bad dogs?
Oh my goodness, yes I do. As a matter of fact, this is a song called Home Wreckin' Bitch. My best friend was through thick and thin until the day I busted her plan. I came home from work early one day and I caught her going down on my man. Well, I screwed up my guy and I looked him in the eye and I told him that he had to go. Then I got in that face of that home-wrecking bitch. I said, bad dog, no, no, no. Bad dog, no, no, no. You screwed the push and you gotta go. I should have known that a collar would make a man holler. Bad dog, no, no, no. Well, I taught that bitch to sit and I cleaned up her shit, but I was stupid that I never knew that those pet store balls were going unused and I was buying peanut butter for two. Well, I felt so betrayed cause I couldn't get laid while my dog had stolen my guy. Well, I knew he kept some jelly next to the bed, but I always thought it was KY. Bad dog, no, no, no. That ain't even the right way to blow. I should have known that a collar would make a man holler. Bad dog, no, no, no. What good does it do to be pretty when you can't compete with 8 teddies? Well, I should have seen that this day would come when he said he liked the doggy style. That's so I filed it off with my dog in my truck. Ain't no way we're gonna reconcile. Now I'm on my way home with a brand new pet, and I don't even care that my man lied. In In the end, I'm the victor with a boa constrictor. The snake has got me satisfied. Bad dog, no, no, no. You screwed the pooch and you gotta go. I should have known that a collar would make a man holler. Bad dog, no, no, no. I should have known that a collar would make a man holler. Bad dog, no, no, no. That's based on a joke that I heard, I think probably in Belfast or something like that. And every time I tried to tell that joke, like nobody thought it was funny but me, you know. And it wasn't until I had to frame it in a song and just switch genders that you know, it was originally started. You know, this guy comes into work and says, "Oh, what's the matter with you?" "Oh, worst day ever. Came home, found my wife in bed with my best friend." You know, so you know, and for some reason nobody thought that joke was funny but me. But I found that reframing it changed everything. Oh, I could tell you all kinds of jokes that nobody thinks are funny but me. I probably pushed them to the back of my mind on purpose, actually. For the Panda fam tuning in, this instrument is called a bouzouki, and as I've often said before, bouzouki is an ancient Greek word that means doesn't stay in tune. So bear with me here. This is another one of mine that's called Spin. Brings a turn in the road, it travels right back to the start. We have all been returned to primordial grace as the blood was returned to the heart. We know it will happen, we just don't know when. I'm longing to triumph, to share my back again. Perpetual spiral, we see where we've been and we spin. In each life we evolve every time, many times. From ashes we rise, all from grace we may fall. Just a small drop of rain on the cyclical path. Only one pair of our hay sees a toll. Every man to the earth and the earth to his kin. Turn on a torque of salvation and sin. Angel stands round on the head of a pin and we spin. The eternal bliss spins us in forward motion. From the first stone cast to the finalized notion, we meet ourselves with Dorag's devotion. Catch fleeting tail in the teeth of emotion. The smile of the moon and the flow of the tide. The blood trickles down of a kick from inside. The land is the pulse and the rhythm our guide. And next are the elements by which we abide. Oh. Soar heaven till his brimstone spiral her smoke they has said. What goes around comes around, that's what we fear. Karma that some jolts to bed. We know it will happen, we just don't know when. I'm longing to triumph, to share our back again. Perpetual spiral, we see where we've been and we spin. Every man to the earth and the earth to his kin. Turn on a talk of salvation and sin. Angel stands round on the head of a pin and we spin. Oh, thank you. I find myself, you know, it's been so long since I've played for a particularly large audience. I find myself making eye contact with all of the animals on the walls and things like that, you know. the way that I would with a normal audience. It's and there's certain things that I don't have to engage in my brain anymore. Like usually when there's a creep in the audience, part of it is like if there's somebody who seems a bit dodgy and he won't sit down, I won't make eye contact until he does, because it's the most primal force, primordial reinforcement. It's like I haven't had to think about that in almost a year. I don't think Mr. Dinosaur over there, can sit down. So, I love the mask. It's so perfect. What was I gonna do? Let's slow it down a hair. One that's just. This is one that got me this embarrassing amount of attention on YouTube. And it's weird to say that. And yes, I had all my clothes on, as I say this. But if I'd known that the song was going to get 307,000 views, I would not have dressed up like the Human Disco Ball. But I just, on a whim one night, I decided to take the Iron Maiden song "Wasted Years" and slow it down to ballad tempo. And for some reason, people, I don't know if they liked it, but they looked at it a lot. They could have hated it, and I just kept watching it, being masochistic. From the coast of gold, across the 7 seas, I'm traveling long, far and wide. But now it seems I'm just a stranger to myself, and all these things I sometimes do. It isn't me but someone else. I close my eyes, I think of home. Another city goes by in the night. Ain't it funny how it seems you never miss it till it's gone away? And my heart is lying there, and will be till my dying day. So understand, don't waste your time always searching for those wasted years. Face up, make your stand, and realize we're living in the golden years. Too much time on my hands, I got you on my mind. Can't ease this pain so easily when you can't find the words to say. It's hard to make it through another day, and it makes me want to cry and throw my hands up to the sky. So understand, don't waste your time always searching for those wasted years. Face up, make your stand, and realize we're living in the golden years. Thank you.
I think 7,000 or so of those views were us.
Probably so.
It's a beautiful version. I love it.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, before I even knew anything about Irish music or knew what a bouzouki was, I was a heavy metal bass player, and that's the kind of thing that never quite deserts you. You know.
I wish I could use it in the documentary, but I don't have Metallica kind of money.
But oh, you mean for royalties?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's that's you have my full permission to use any of my IP, of course, and I'll sign whatever.
Oh yeah, I should bring that.
Yeah, saying in case I hit my head and suddenly turn into a douchebag, this is to remind you that yes, I said I was okay before I hit my head and turned into a douchebag. In fact, when I hit my head and the sound it made was douche, Oh God! While the camera's still rolling. Well, this is one that you probably can't use either. But so.
I'm enjoying it. But.
Yeah, this is where I was. Gwennon and Jonathan already know how I like to take songs and put my own spin on it. And I was doing this. I first thought of this for a little bouzouki workshop, online bouzouki workshop I was doing, saying take a song, any song, and you can make it your own. Let's take one and put it into a 5/4. So it's and then give it kind of like an Arabic scale, In a stranger's to love. The rules, and so do I. For commitment's what I'm thinking of. You wouldn't get this from any other guy. I just want to tell you what I'm feeling. Got to make you understand. Never gonna give you up. Never gonna let you down. Never gonna run around. I desert you. Never gonna make you cry. Never gonna say goodbye. Never gonna tell a lie and hurt you. Hurt you. Hurt you. Yeah, it's getting ridiculous. It's like I can't. There must be something wrong with me that all these years later I still think the shit's funny. I'm sure there's a word for it. There's already on Urban Dictionary. There's asclephobia, which is the fear of getting rickrolled. It's on. Yeah. Right. Anything else before I keep
Darling, please.
Darling, please. I can do that.
My very favorite.
I'm rather partial to it myself, and I don't often say that about my own music. Most of the time, by the time I've finished writing a song and recording a song, mixing, mastering, releasing, I'm just like, I don't ever want to hear this ever again. That I did. This one was on a live album, so maybe I just didn't have a chance to get sick of it. Darling, please come and sit down beside me. You know how long we've been together. Lately I've been thinking about what I really want, and it's something that would last us forever. Everywhere I turn, I see women with strollers. They've got tiny bottles from heaven galore. Their lives are now complete with the patter of little feet. It's an issue I can no longer ignore. Oh, darling, please, won't you do one thing for me? For I'm tired of always thinking about fertility. It's the ultimate gesture of complete gallantry. Darling, please get that vasectomy. Even when I just play a snippet of that song, it's still effective. Every morning I can hear little kids screaming. In a restaurant, always one who kicks my chair. Sometimes a little angel nearly knocks down my mic after sticking wads of bubble gum in my hair. Well, I know you're protective of your Big Jim and the twins, but it takes a real man to wear such a scar. Your sperm count would be 0, but you'd always be my hero, and you'd have something to show your friends at the bar. Oh, darling, please, won't you do one thing for me? For I'm tired of always thinking about fertility. It's the ultimate gesture of complete gallantry. Darling, please get that vasectomy. Darling, please get that vasectomy. Thank you. The thing, I might as well tell the Panda Fam this story. I know that you guys have heard this before, but one of the things that I didn't hear until after the album was already released was in Bethesda, Maryland. I was scheduled to play this folk concert series, and the album was just going to come out in time. I think I had like 50 of them drop shipped to Baltimore, and then I went straight to Baltimore, Bethesda. And this folk concert series was hosted by this Presbyterian church. And even though you can make of that what you will, they already knew what they were in for. I don't know, but it said in the contract that the concerts are not affiliated with the church. And even though, okay, that's all well and good, but I was setting up, and I was talking to the minister who was hanging out, and he was a really, really nice dude. And so I just thought I should tell him. I said, look, I know what the contract said, but I'm trying to do as much stuff off this one record as I can. One of these songs it's about a vasectomy, and well, this is your sanctuary. And he said, nothing that you sing will top this. He said that several years prior, he himself had undergone a similar rite of passage. I think the story goes was that he was wounded on a Friday, and the following Sunday he was resurrected. Hallelujah, back to work. He said he was in his office, which is adjacent to the sanctuary, and he said he was preparing for the service and talking to his buddy about how his weekend went. And as he's putting together his notes and putting on his robe and his stole and everything like that, and he's going into graphic detail with his buddy talking about his vasectomy, and all of a sudden there was this knock at the door, and it was one of these little old church ladies who said, "Excuse me, but we all think that you should turn your microphone off." And he said he walked very slow. Did you guys ever hear this story? You guys never heard the epic tale of the minister's vasectomy? And he said that he just walked very slowly up in the pulpit, and the entire church congregation, they were just grinning like Cheshire cats. And yeah, I was, this might not be a very lucrative job that I've got, but damn do I hear some good stories. Potatoes twisty before my eyes, a snake deceptive, the pure of guys, guilt ridden into submissive state, is what they're hoping will be my fate. They send my brothers who would defend me, criticize and I champion them, but those who love us will know the difference, cause the journey will soon begin. The wine is drunk and the song is sung. It then makes loose of a toxic tongue. Deep wounds confess they've never sown. And the poison spreads into nerve and bone. Brings raging fever for a delusion. And I take courage amongst my kind. And I will drink of this medication. Sing elixir of heart and mind. is true must be brought to light, and what is free must be unoppressed. What isn't here must be given strength, and what declines must be laid to rest. What is reborn if his soul's no longer? What is we may play the fool? What is malignant goes disregarded, seems itself in its manner cruel.
Dog was barking the bass part for
I know, I heard that.
That's why I had to go get. It's a truism that if you hear it, you need to
Oh,
see it. So I was like, I
absolutely.
need a picture of the dog barking.
Absolutely.
Unfortunately.
Dogs got rhythm.
Well, there's my parents had a dachshund who actually had a decent sense of pitch. It was one of the earliest incarnations of a Cajun band that my mom and I ended up both playing for, and the rehearsal was at, I was still in my teens, and the rehearsal was at our house, and everybody was singing, and then it was one of these sort of folklore troupes, so it was more than just, instrumentalists and singers. It was dancers and things to demonstrate some of the folkloric customs. And there was somebody everybody cut off, and one person was still holding a note. And we looked over, and it was the dog, who had matched the pitch of the singers, and was just. It's like, okay, maybe he's a critic, but at least he's a critic in tune. What else can I tell you about? That was around the same era that. What else can I tell you about? I'm tuning. In that same era, I had a cat that was a little rescue kitten that I found when I'm not sure if people do this anymore. I was going door to door, knocking on strange people's houses, selling raffle tickets for the school band, and found this little stray kitten. Brought him home, and he was a talker. But one of the weird things he could say was Iwo Jima. He could say things that that cats typically, not like now, down, mama, but one of the weirdest things he could say was Iwo Jima. Just random. I was like, okay, kitty. It's a conspiracy. Fervent couple conquer whip and spur, hearts pumping in the breast along the shoreline they did run, till they fled into the ocean and Poseidon's cool embrace, and found a world where men and horses lived side by side as one, tempering desire with a fat secrecy, but all the pretty wild horses couldn't drag it out of me. Trying to destroy an inner heart of tree, but all the pretty wild horses couldn't drag it out of me. If the flesh is more than willing and the spirit lies as weak, then the penalty is grim as all the pretty horses know. You'll be shackled to their tails as they run off in four directions, and the heart is torn asunder, but the spirit free to go. Tempering desire, the fat secrecy, but all the pretty wild horses couldn't drag it out of me. Trying to destroy an inner heart of tree, but all the pretty wild horses couldn't drag it out of me. My last will throw me 6 feet underground, 'cause I'll never rest until it's for a moment, even then. Just scatter all my ashes on the backs of those wild ponies, that I may have lesson within my body to transcend. Tempering desire, the fat secrecy, but all the pretty wild horses couldn't drag it out of me. Trying to destroy an inner hollow tree, but all the pretty wild horses couldn't drag it out of me. there was much rejoicing. It's a very interesting aesthetic from where I'm standing, because, I'm seeing your masked faces, but, it's I can tell you're smiling with your eyes, and then it's like, stop staring at the unicorn's ass. That's from my vantage point. It's like, because I'm looking at this, I think I read about this in college. It's like, the position is called lordosis, when the animal, when the female is ready. That's like a total lordosis unicorn right there. I mean, and that's me. This is me on no alcohol. That's the sad thing. I managed to.
I got all night.
Yeah, in one of my first published stories, when I first decided that I wanted to write fiction on the side, there was one that was for an anthology that was a high fantasy genre, and so I got to make up my own characters, and there was one named Lord Osis, and I don't think anybody got it, but I will often do things just to crack myself up, because somebody has to, damn it. Anything else?
You know me, I'm happy with everything.
That sounds like a gauntlet thrown, The what? The weirdest thing I know. It really depends on your definition of weird. I'm really honestly trying to think, because I have such a high weird threshold. I've been seeing some drama unfold in various social circles, and I'm going, and the problem is, just things that don't even register. My definitions of weird are, things that we had discussions before the camera was rolling about people who write to me, and I'm like, what's a strange person? But I know, I'm gonna think of the perfect weird song, like at 2:00 in the morning when my sleep meds decide to wear off. After, I'm like, damn it, that's what I should have played. I have dirty, I have raunchy, weird. There was I can't remember. There's a Daniel Johnston song that I used to do, but I don't remember. There was a kid named Sid, and he was born. Maybe the doctor hit him a bit too hard. He just seemed to get off to a rough start. Never relaxed, never relaxed, never relaxed. There's all these things about how he had a hard time in school, and then the only other thing that I can remember is about how Sid became a teenager, and Sid turned to masturbation. He just never seemed to keep a good thing down. Never relaxed, never relaxed, never relaxed. Never relaxed, never relaxed, never relaxed, never relaxed. Then Sid died and went to hell. And I'm going to learn it for the next time that you guys are here. But it's the whole thing. It is deep weirdness. So now I have a mission for you guys. Since I can't think of weird, I'll think of. How long did you guys need me for?
Whenever, if you're done, you're done. If you have more you want to play everything
I'll
you know.
do a few more things here. The thing is, I've got the unicorn's ass in my line of sight, and then there's this cupcake, and it's a very strange forced perspective. I just learned about forced perspective just the other night when I was helping do this commercial, where we had to do some forced perspective that, involved suspending strange things from disco balls. This is one that has taken on an odd meaning since the pandemic. When I wrote it, it was just kind of like about how there's some things out of your control and how to make the most with whatever hand you've been dealt. And then the pandemic happened, and I was like, screw all that. Screw making lemonade. When life gives you lemons, sometimes it's okay to just set things on fire instead. But even still, here we are making the most of it. We're making the most of it. I mean, it's like we're still under lockdown, but we have started, the city has collectively started a brand new tradition, because I really think that this is history in the making. I think that people are going to continue to do house floats. I mean, when you guys told me about your ideas for next year, I got goosebumps in a very good way, and thought about, the ways that, I don't want to give any spoilers, but when Jonathan asked, would I be available to do X, Y, and Z, I was like, oh, hells yes. So count me in. But this very much is, I realize, this is something that is going to stay with us, and we roll with it, just like things that were born out of Katrina, things that are now born out of the pandemic, and we just roll, we adapt, we survive. And so maybe I can think of it that way with the song called Curve. Sometimes in life those you pick up, you think it's less than you deserve, but you gotta hold on, see what's in store. We've all got some crossroads to bear, but if you pause to wonder, there you might find that it's better than before. Silver stars and smoky bars, the sound of Argentine guitars. Oh, life throws you a curve, life throws you a curve. Sometimes when life throws you a curve, you hold fast and refuse to swerve, but you got to stop, reflect and count your tears. For fate so often has a twist, but ask yourself why you resist. It might be the very reason for your fears. Raising sights to greater heights, the jaguar stalking in the night. Silver stars and smoky bars, the sound of Argentine guitars. Oh, life throws you a curve, life throws you a curve. Nothing you can do to change the force of nature's plans. Only stop to see what sort of gift is in your hands. Sometimes when life throws you a curve, you seize the moment to preserve, but you got to lose the fear that it won't last. There's only here and there's only now, so shake down from your word brow the phantoms of the future and the past. Flowers bloom beneath the sea, a tiny goddess running free, raising sights to greater heights, the jaguar stalking in the night. Silver stars and smoky bars, the sound of Argentine guitars. Oh, life throws you a curve, life throws you a curve, life throws you a curve.
That's beautiful.
Thank you.
Is that one of yours also?
That is one of mine also. Yay. I would love to play more, but my fingers are starting to freeze. So flexing my fingers is kind of part of my job description. So, I hope that this was sufficient entertainment for you guys.
Spectacular as always.
Absolutely
Yay.
wonderful.
Yay.
And this is why we spent our pandemic raising money for New Orleans musicians. Feared us.
Really?
Yes.
You guys, have been doing so much. I've been friend bragging about how both of you have been tireless. And it's not just the financial. It's not just the financial help, but it's just knowing that there is somebody in your corner. I think that's one of the main things. Yes, finances will keep our lights on and keep our electricity running and keep food on our table, but having somebody in your corner is what will keep us sane, especially when we've all been so disconnected to one another.
The minute the first lockdown happened, we thought of you, and we were like, what is Beth going to do?
Yeah, I was
And then
about
we
to
were
go to
like,
Guatemala.
and she's married to a musician. What is he going to do?
Yeah.
And what are all of the other musicians going to do? And what can we do?
And you know, and it's. I mean, you guys are always thinking of other people, and it's nice that we're all in this together. You know, it's like when I would do live streams, I would try to. I was like, I'm lucky to be able to do this because there's some musicians, like symphony musicians, who have to play with a large ensemble, that don't have that option, or other people who don't have it as easy as a singer-songwriter, or Josh who can do solo piano gigs. But there are plenty of people who cannot do it solo, and I considered myself lucky, so I tried to pay a little bit forward as well. And then, just like with Hurricane Katrina, there were a lot of unexpected and very much appreciated kindnesses that came out of nowhere, and I'm hoping that I've been able to help in some small way as well. And that's how we're getting through it. And
Music has kept us all going.
and how lucky we are. I mean, for all that social media can drive me crazy, and it can be erroneous to say the least. The things that it's good for, like in staying connected, was my grandmother, who was born in 1909. One of the things that I never got to ask her before she died at age 105, one of the things that she experienced was the Spanish influenza pandemic, and I never did ask her, you know, how she did, but how they made it. But you know, both of my grandmothers were very much roll up their sleeves and just get her done. And I suspect that people pulled together like they did back when she was talking about the two great wars that she witnessed in her time, and how people banded together and they grew victory gardens. And with so much divisiveness that I'm seeing in this country, it's nice to know that there are still people who are reaching out to one another.
Yeah.
I love you too. How was my Icelandic? Was